They call him Seatin, the man of legends.
Hey ladies and gents, what is up? It is Seatin here, hello and welcome to Soloing Hammerknell Part 1, Murdantix and Matron Zamira. So in this video I'm just gonna kind of talk about how to solo both of the bosses in Hammerknell, now that the kind of upcoming expansion Nightmare Tide gives pretty much anyone and everyone the DPS potential to actually get into Hammerknell and solo the bosses. So, you know, this is something you can do when Nightmare Tide comes out for fun. You can do it on the PTS now. Also, you know, it's a decent amount of platinum for, you know, a few minutes work on each boss. Like Murdantix, you know, the kill time on Murdantix for me was just over 4 minutes, or just under 4 minutes, something like that. Around the 4 minute mark. And he drops, you know, a nice chunk of plat, and then also stuff that you can sell to the vendor for also a nice little chunk of plat. So it might be a little nice way to, you know, top up your purse every week. But anyways, it's really fun and a great sense of accomplishment. So Murdantix himself is very easy. Literally, this is the easiest boss you will solo in Hammerknell. It is literally just tank and spank. Nothing he does seems to even hit remotely hard, not even like when you have 10 plus stacks of the toughness and armor debuff. He still hits like absolutely nothing. You don't really have to bother with the interrupts, and being a caster, I didn't have sort of the interrupt cooldown to get every interrupt. So yeah, literally it is just nuke the boss on Murdantix. I wish there was really more to it. But as you can see, it's just nuke the boss. Nothing is too much of an issue. He doesn't appear to spawn any of the puddles, just due to the fact that you don't have anybody arranged, as you are the only person and you're a melee. The adds in the later phase, they don't seem to come in much bulk either. Literally, there should be tons of ads spawning right now if it was the standard Murdantix, but it seems that the ad spawn is based off the number of players, so you'll notice like just 1 or 2 ads spawn, which literally deal a very small amount of melee damage to me, and I don't really drop below about 95% on this fight, just due to the heals from Scourge and Vex are constantly topping me up and ensuring that I don't die under any circumstance. So that's pretty much it for Murdantix. Tank and Spank have a very small amount of self-healing, and try and get him down as quickly as possible, because his damage just does go up and up and up. Not that it's really much of a threat anyway, but yeah, that's pretty much it. And then you can see a variety of tasty drops that you can quickly chuck on the vendor. So this is Matron Zamira. Now for Matron Zamira, I had to respec to a pet spec. This one was quite a bit more difficult. I initially tried it as Inquisitor, but what she's going to do, her kind of main mechanic, is she puts a debuff on the target she's attacking. So this debuff increases damage taken, and it also reduces healing taken by 10% per stack. So literally, if you are doing this without a pet, you are going to become immune to healing in like 2 minutes, unless you can burst it down, which is not really possible in any of the DPS specs or gear. So you have to go for a pet spec. I chose Druid, which is the only cleric pet spec, and it seemed to work fairly well. However, bear in mind that your pet is going to eventually become immune to healing after about 2 or so minutes, so it's going to die and you're going to need to quickly resummon it. Now, another fairly important part of this fight is that ads are going to constantly spawn. They're probably going to either originate from you or your pet. She's going to place a debuff, and what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to fully focus these ads and single target them down pretty damn quickly, because what these ads are going to do is they are going to drain your mana, and in most, well, especially in a Druid spec, mana is a very valuable resource. I believe also for rogues and warriors, I'm not entirely sure though, but I also believe they drain energy, so they'd be pretty damn annoying. You'll see at one point very soon in this video what I decide to do is I decide, you know what's going to happen if I try and AoE load of these ads down at once, and it did not go well. Like literally I was zoomed for about 30 seconds to a minute because they kept on mana draining me, so I was spamming on mana tap, which was draining my health, so it was not a good idea at all. But yeah, so also you'll notice that she is gradually gaining stacks of something that looks like somebody hiding, really, and that's sort of all the darkness building inside her. Now, basically, this kind of acts as a soft enrage timer. So the more stacks of this, the harder she's going to hit, and this means the harder she tears through your pet. So towards the end of the fight, you'll notice me resummoning my pet every kind of 20 to 30 seconds, because literally she will just butcher them so hard. Also, at low percentages, she gains 2 additional abilities. So she gains, I believe it's something like Icarus Bile, which you can't do anything about. It hits for about 15k on your pet, and also Hideous Blast. Now, Hideous Blast can actually be interrupted, but with most people's interrupts, you don't have the cooldown to get every one of them. You can only get every other one of them, and they do hit really hard on your pet, so you can try to interrupt as many as possible, but again, it is pretty damn hard to get everyone. This fight really just is kind of a pure DPS check. I was really fortunate that I managed to get this down first try, and I still don't fully understand how I managed to get this down first try as a druid. I mean, I wiped a couple of times as Inquisitor before I went, oh, you know, I'm not going to be able to do this in this spec. I need a pet to take the debuffs. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Matron Zamira. The only other things worth noting are the knockback. She's just going to be constantly kind of knocking you back throughout the fight, and that is very annoying. I mean, the best thing you can do is just continue to run back into melee range, or maybe if you're playing, I don't know if it's possible to do it, but maybe if you're playing a spec like Elementalist, maybe you could just, you know, just run around and quickly avoid it, because if you're at range, you do actually have a bit of time to react to that knockback, and especially if you don't have as much self-healing as a druid build does, then it's probably a good idea to, you know, try and avoid as many of them as possible. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned a thing or two. Take care and have an absolutely great day.